August 2005. Television screens around the world showed dramatic scenes from the Gaza. Israeli soldiers were pulling settlers out of their homes. Some settlers cried, others shouted, refusing to leave. Prime Minister Ariel Sharon called it the disengagement plan, claiming this setup would reduce conflict and give Palestinians a chance to govern themselves. Many around the world believed Gaza was finally free, but the reality was far from the film. Yes, the settlers left. 21 settlements were demolished, and 8,000 Israelis were evacuated. But Israel never gave up the control on Gaza. Gaza's only airport had been shut for years. Its airspace stayed under Israeli authority, and its sea remained blocked. Fishermen were allowed to sail only a few miles before they being getting shot at. Borders were sealed, with every crossing controlled by Israel except Rafah, which is controlled and monitored by Egypt. A United Nations report a year later stated clearly, Gaza remains occupied territory because Israel controls its borders, airspace and sea. What looked like a withdrawal was in reality a new form of occupation. Gaza has been turned into a prison, just without guards standing inside. In January 2006, Palestinians voted in legislative elections, widely regarded as free and fair elections. The result shocked the world. Hamas won 74 out of 132 seats, defeating Fatah. Ordinary Palestinians were tired of Fatah's corruption and broken promises after Oslo. Hamas appeared honest, organized, and committed to resisting Israel. But instead of respecting this democratic choice, the world punished Gaza. Israel froze about $50 million of Palestinian tax revenue, and the United States and European Union cut crucial aid. Hamas's newly elected Prime Minister Ismail Haniyeh said at that time, "The Palestinian people who chose us through the ballot box. Democracy should be respected, not punished." Hamas was not a new movement. It was founded in 1987 during the First Intifada as an offshoot of Muslim Brotherhood. Unlike Fatah, which leaned towards secular nationalism, Hamas combined Palestinian nationalism with Islamic ideology. In 1988, Charter famously declared that jihad is the ultimate duty of Muslims against the occupation, making armed resistance a central part of its identity. But Hamas was not just a military group. It built a strong social network in Gaza. It ran schools, it ran hospitals and charities, earning its popularity among ordinary Palestinians who felt abandoned by the Fatah's corruption. For many Gazans, Hamas represented dignity and resistance. The promise that Palestinians would not simply accept occupation forever. But for Israel and Western governments, Hamas was labeled as a terrorist organization, and its rise to political power was seen as a threat to peace negotiations. Tensions between Hamas and Fatah escalated after the elections. With secret backing from the Israel and the US, Fatah security forces attempted to weaken Hamas. By June 2007, open fighting erupted across Gaza. For a week, the streets were filled with gunfire and chaos. When the clashes ended, Hamas had taken full control of the Gaza, while Fatah retreated to the West Bank under Mahmoud Abbas. From that day forward, Palestine was divided, the West Bank under Fatah, Gaza under Hamas. For Israel, this division was strategic. A divided Palestinian leadership meant a weaker resistance movement. Almost immediately, Israel and Egypt imposed a total blockade on Gaza. The effects were devastating. Movements became nearly impossible. Even cancer patients were often denied permits to leave for treatment. Goods were restricted. Basic items like pasta, cement, and even crayons for children were blocked. Daily life collapsed under power cuts that lasted 12 to 18 hours a day, and Gaza's already fragile economy was strangled. Factories closed, and tens of thousands lost their jobs. By 2008, unemployment soared past 45%, and 80% of the population relied entirely on the UN aid for survival. A leaked Israeli military document later revealed something shocking. Officials were literally calculating the minimum daily calories allowed into Gaza, just enough to keep people alive but not enough to live a normal life. The United Nations called Gaza the largest open-air prison in the world. Human Rights Watch described the blockade as collective punishment of the civilians. Desperation grew and resistance followed. Hamas and other groups began launching homemade Qassam rockets into southern Israel. These rockets were small, often inaccurate, but they spread fear in the Israeli border towns. Israel responded with airstrikes and targeted assassinations, many of which hit civilian areas. This cycle of rockets and retaliation grew worse with every month, punishing Gaza closer to disaster. Everyday life became a struggle for survival. Doctors watched patients die because medicine supplies ran out or travel permits were denied. Students who had scholarships abroad were trapped inside the strip. Fishermen risked their lives daily. Many were shot at invisible line in the sea. A Gazan doctor summed it up in 2008. We were not living here. We were only trying to survive, one day at a time. By the end of 2008, Gaza was boiling with anger, isolation, and grief. What the world had celebrated as a withdrawal had become one of the harshest blockades in modern history. The rise of Hamas gave Israel a pretext to tighten its grip, but it was ordinary people, families, children, and sick and elderly who paid the heaviest prices. And this was only the beginning. The pressure, the anger, and the siege would soon explode into one of the deadliest chapters of this struggle. The next part, we will uncover the 2008 Gaza War, a war that left scars Gaza still carries today. This is 70 years of humiliation and resistance, and Gaza's fight for survival had only just begun. If you liked the video, make sure to subscribe to our channel and drop a comment. Thanks for watching.